Hey up, and welcome back to Warra Football. Today we're going to be going through the Premier League awards. This is the last week of the Premier League season. We've still got the last game to come, but we're going to go over the awards anyway, because we don't care. And it shouldn't matter, it's only one game.
Exactly.
I was going to start with the big one, Player of the Season. But, retention thoughts, we'll keep the big ones to the end. We'll start from the bottom of the list.
Okay.
With best game.
I think it's pretty obvious, right?
Do you?
I've got Chelsea 4, City 4.
I've also got Chelsea 4, City 4.
Yeah.
Chelsea 4, United 3.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, you're all wrong.
It's going to be an Arsenal game.
No, it's not. The best game of the season was Tottenham 1, Chelsea 4. That is the funniest thing that's happened this season.
I'm glad that every game revolves around Chelsea.
He's right.
Yeah,
you have been the most entertaining
it's
this
chaotic.
season.
You're right.
I didn't
That game was unreal. That game had everything.
The best goalkeeper performance I've seen this season conceded.
And he
4
conceded
goals.
4 and 3 of them were to
One of the
Nicholas
worst
Jackson
striking
as well.
performances.
The worst
And he got a
striker
hat-trick.
the worst hat trick I've ever seen.
The best is a perfect hat trick.
Come on, bro.
There was nothing perfect about
was
that.
such a
The
weird
worst hat
game.
trick I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was fucking terrible. He could have had about 6.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But you just submit to whatever
No,
Gary
that
says.
was good.
Man.
I forgot that happened.
No, but you got to
Yeah,
admit, you did not enjoy any game more than that. It's hilarious.
The comedy value of Ange going,
VAR
it's just who we are, mate. It's just who we are.
Mate, we're not going to change. All right, mate?
And there was so much VAR nonsense in that, which, again, with the Ange was always like, I don't care about VAR.
And now
mate.
he's
And then after that
completely-
game, that's where it switched, and he was like, bloody hell, I really want to moan about this, mate, but I'm not allowed to moan about it because then I'll be a hypocrite, a fat hypocrite.
He talked about himself.
I do look a bit like
You know the bit that summed that game up was when Sterling dived, Enzo got clattered, Caicedo scores, Jackson's offside,
Yeah.
and then he nearly missed the pen. That sequence was
Romero
fucking
got
nuts.
sent off
Romero
in the
red
same
card.
game.
Yeah.
That bit was fucking nuts.
I heard the VAR audio for that. It's a bit of why the game is kind of gone because they said like 5 minutes.
They got the
offside
decisions right,
foul. No, they did, but it just took.
They had to check everything, in there.
There was a lot to unpack.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. And then I've never seen the most fucking suicidal high line in my life.
It was
That was
ridiculous.
They were playing on halfway. And
They had 10 men.
You guys just don't get it, right? Because when you've got 9 men, it's actually good to press high up because then you leave all this space.
Yeah, exactly. It was like all Jackson was doing was standing on the halfway line and running. That was literally all they were doing.
Wasn't there a bit where Chelsea finally took the lead and then was it Eric Dyer scored and he was offside?
Yeah, but it was like a volley. Was
Yeah,
it like a back post?
Yeah.
For that second, oh my days. That was
Crazy. Yeah, because they were down to 9 men, then basically equalised, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Cracking
Yeah.
shout,
What is going on?
cracking
Yeah,
shout.
great. All right, we can give it that.
We can have
However,
that.
honourable mentions to Chelsea 4 all with City and the 4-3.
Yeah, I just couldn't have the 4-3 because it was so
Chelsea
painful. It was so painful.
We have been chaotic, but fucking good to watch.
Yeah.
On the next.
Next up is the manager of the season. I think this one's fairly straight.
It's got to be Unai Emery, hasn't it? It has to be.
I thought it was in a sweeper, you know.
Yeah, it has to be Unai
They
Emery.
they've been very good, and they're just
Yeah.
overachieving. They're punching well above their weight.
They are to a degree, but I think I've seen what you said in the sense that they do have a very good team. It's just that with that bad under Gerrard, that it makes it look a bit better than
They
it
had
is.
a top 6 squad or a top 8 squad,
Yeah.
and now it's a top 6 squad. But to finish top 4 is still like
Yeah, but you
amazing.
say
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
You say that, but I don't think.
Whilst competing in Europe as well.
I don't
Yeah.
think they like. When you look at that squad before the season, you would have been like, "Fucking hell, we've got a good squad." But Emery is making them play very well. Like, and all of the players are improving under him.
They were in
Yeah.
the title race for like half the season.
which is mental.
Yeah.
They genuinely were as well.
And they could finish not that far behind like Liverpool, really, realistically.
Well,
They'll be on plus 70 points, which is quite,
Very nice. No, I think it's Emery, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's such a good man.
It's just organised, isn't it? They're decent to watch, the attacking numbers. They're like, I don't know, they're just a counter-attacking team, but they just do it really well. And
They do press very high at times and suffocate teams.
but they're
as
just
well.
like solid at the back, and then they've got the quality to get them goals.
I think that's one of the things I really like about what he's done is that high line. And I always said when Emi Martinez was at Arsenal, I was like, we had to sell him because he couldn't really play in that system, which at the time he couldn't. But Emery's kind of coached him into it, and he's again. We'll do a team of the season video as well. But for me, he's been the best goalkeeper this season. I know you agree.
I agree. He's been brilliant.
And that's something which has come from Emery as well. That's not something Emi Martinez had because we saw him at Arsenal, and that was something he kind of struggled with. Even like last season, he was struggling with that a bit, but it takes time. And now
it's definitely like last season. The difference in level from last season to this season is insane with him.
Yeah.
He's
So
so
when
good.
they beat City and Arsenal back to back 1-0, like
Yeah.
who would have done that this year?
Yeah.
Like,
Won me a lot of money that though.
Emery manager of the season.
100%.
For us.
Definitely.
We'll go on to worst signing. This is interesting because I think there's a few.
The worst signing of the season has been Mason Mount.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It's been Calvin Phillips.
No, it's not.
Been Calvin Phillips.
That's probably a good.
Been Calvin Phillips.
Mason Mount.
But he's been injured too.
He's
Like,
given
I
away
don't
a
think he
couple
can
of
really
pens.
do that though.
United signed Mason Mount. Okay, it's not his fault. Gave him the prestigious number. His whole thing was he's left his boyhood club, the club he loved so much. He was meant to come to United and do something.
Take into account the mess at the club as well, though.
It's not terrible, but I think it's harsh.
When he's played, he hasn't. He played one.
He's not been that bad when he's played. I'm not putting a player in that's hardly played.
Do you remember at the very start of the season when he was playing? And I remember I think it was a Tottenham game.
What, away?
Especially. That was like compounded like a few bad performances from him in a row, either side. But that Tottenham game, it was like, I remember watching him at Chelsea and I always used to back him when other people were like, what does he even do? And then that last season at Chelsea, I think, okay, he's had a very poor season.
Yeah.
I thought going to a new environment, maybe he'd kick on a little bit. He didn't. He did. When he played, he didn't. And when he didn't play, we didn't even really know why he wasn't playing.
But there's so many caveats to that though. Like
I
the
agree.
midfield, how disorganised it is, the injuries, the fact that Cobby was meant to actually play a lot more at the start of the season, got an ACL.
Ball manager.
Yeah, exactly. The style of football and all the sprints you have to do, the injuries. I think it'd be very harsh to say.
I think it hasn't worked out very well, but there's a lot of factors that contribute to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's only a season in.
When he's had his chance in the team, I just don't think
He hasn't been good enough.
I think, when he came on against Brentford, got that goal, was pretty decent. Then he came on against Chelsea and he was actually really good the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for him that day because he was good. But
he was really good.
There's been worse
I
players,
just don't
but
get
he's
why
been a bad signing.
I don't get why he doesn't start, to be honest. When you're looking at, you got Casserole, you're bringing McTominay on, and then Mount's just sat on the bench, who has been better.
Better,
Like, he's had some very good cameos and stuff, and then he's
I-
still not
I-
getting a chance.
I
I find it
really
bizarre because he bought him and was like, he's
I
going to
really
start
like
every
Mason
game.
Mount. I was quite excited when he signed. He just
So was
let
I.
me down personally.
But
I think he'll come good.
If you then compare the Calvin Phillips shout, he's been terrible.
I know it's
He's
a loan
been
signing,
terrible.
but he's like every
that's
game he's played, he's stunk the gaff up and made West Ham 10
Yeah.
times. So it's red cards, giving away penalties,
penalties.
just
Yeah,
generally
the
being
Newcastle
sloppy
game.
on the ball. And the thing that I'm taking into account with that as well is kind of the expectation to a degree. Like no one ever thought he was going to
that
come
Newcastle
there.
game. It wasn't a penalty.
No, but he
gave it
objectively
It was
gave
more
penalty
similar
away
to that
though.
Alderweireld one.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
yeah.
That wasn't due to his poor performance.
Right,
And
fair.
if you think
But
about-
the rest, everything else.
yeah,
so.
If you think about it as well, he went to West Ham to basically try and get in the Euro squad.
Yeah.
and he's
It's
made his
been a
career worse.
disaster.
Yeah,
It's been a
the whole
disaster.
idea was at West Ham, you get him in, he's great at retaining
Play
the ball.
minutes.
Then you've got Edson Alvarez, bit more of
Yeah.
a destroyer. Then you've got like a Paquetá, Caduce, and he's just been shit.
Yeah, really.
And the telling thing is, we know West Ham fans and they all don't like him.
Yeah.
I'm happy to vote for Phillips.
I think that's
Don't let-
lazy
you can't
because
let
it's a
him
loan.
win. You can't let him.
Who's
win.
yours?
Now he
How's it
said
going?
Phillips. I agree with Phillips.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with Mount so Phillips can win.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Best signing. Again, think about the context. It's Kai Havertz.
No, it's not.
Because
You know,
everyone
you think-
wrote it off, but
you
he
know
did
why?
it.
Oh, I like Havertz, but he's had a good 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, no,
You can't say he's been the best signing of the
'cause-
season.
no,
Listen,
let me talk. Let me explain. It's all about the context, right? Everyone said that was a terrible signing. It was actually a good signing. You think about that in terms
Yeah, but you
of
paid
like,
60 million quid for him,
everyone
lad.
said
It's
it'd
not
be
like,
a 0 out of 10. It's been a 7 out of 10. That's 7 more. No one's improved 7 on expectations.
Yeah, but it's not. We're not. Best signing.
I'm spitting.
Best signing isn't based on expectations. And,
based
and,
on-
and listen to me, Kai Havertz has scored 12 Premier League goals, and Sky Sports are writing Kai Havertz reborn.
And
He
he's
spent
been-
£60 million. Jackson scored 1 goal less, and everyone's like, "Fucking hell!"
And Havertz
Jackson's
is
terrible.
playing up front.
Havertz is
No, he
playing.
hasn't played all for season.
Listen,
Yeah,
It's
but
not even
in
Arsenal's
this good
best
patch of
signing.
form that you're judging him off, he's been playing up
Havertz is
front.
playing
Yeah.
in a team that are
We need a
creating
striker.
so many chances. Like he's playing better because he's playing with better players.
It's not about
Yeah.
the performance. It's about the expectation and the business.
It's not. I'm going off the
Okay.
base. All I'm basing it off is the player that signed
You're
for a
simple.
team and been the best player out of all
And
of them.
simple.
How
And-
good he's been.
And it's Cole Palmer.
Of course, it's Cole Palmer.
He's got 20 league goals.
Oh, that
He's
was
got
my
like
real
15
one.
assists.
You're full of shit.
No.
If you
No,
don't
let's
say
not do
Palmer,
this.
then you're deluded.
It just,
Yeah.
I know it can be boring
Palmer.
because he's up for a lot of the awards, but if we're just being real, it is Palmer.
He's
Yeah,
I said Rice.
you're wrong.
I just think.
I don't mind.
I don't hate
I
it,
think
but-
he is the thing.
Havertz.
He's the thing that took Arsenal from like you're there but you're not there yet. To okay,
Yeah,
you're actually there
it's
now.
massively improved the way
He's
they
definitely
play.
improved, but I don't think I don't think it's solely him.
I think he is a big part of why they went from pretenders to contenders, in my opinion.
But they're still going to end up being pretenders.
But
Nah,
if
nah,
you look at
they've
what
taken City all the way to the wire this time. To be fair.
if you look at what
I think
Palmer's
he has
done
a-
in that Chelsea team, it's unbelievable. First full season in men's football, like properly,
I agree.
Yeah.
with
playing
that.
every week. And he's literally carried us. Like
Yeah.
if we didn't have his goals, we'd be literally in a relegation battle.
Yeah,
he's
it's insane.
He's one behind Haaland. Like it's fucking. I know he takes pens. You've still got to score the pens.
Haaland takes pens.
That argument of he scored like 9 pens is fucking stupid. What do you do? Like rule out pens from top
It was the
goal
same
scorers?
with Bruno.
I don't
like-
know. I think people go, he scored 20 goals. That's amazing. he hasn't been as good as what the stats make him look like.
I think he has.
If you actually watch how good he is at football.
If you remember, like the first half of the season, there were a lot of games where he was kind of nothing.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I'm not.
Don't shag the stat of 20 goals. Watch him play football. He's fucking insane.
His link-up play and everything. He goes past people.
People like there was a lot of games in the first half of the season where he did niche.
Not a lot.
And when he plays,
so you're discrediting the Palmer shout because he had a bad.
I agree with it.
No, but you're basically saying he had a bad few months at the start of the season, but then you're putting in Kai Havertz, who had a disastrous first 6 months at Arsenal.
Kai Havertz was a little.
He had a terrible first half of the season.
Okay,
I've got some other honourable mentions I just wanted to bring out. Then obviously it's Palmer, but I've got McAllister. And maybe
I think McAllister's had a bit of an overrated season, personally. Who? McAllister.
No, I think he's been very good.
He's been unreal.
I'm not saying he's been bad, but I think he's getting more hype than he should get. I think he's been okay.
If Liverpool didn't fall off,
he's just been solid for me.
I think he's been their second best player.
Some people saying he's in the team of the season.
It's a shout.
There's a shout.
It's not in mine, but it's a shout.
It's not a team of the season.
There's with McAllister, Liverpool falling off wasn't his fault. If they had continued, for me, that is like he's made the same impact in Liverpool's midfield, arguably a bigger one than Rice did, and he cost like 35% of what Rice did.
Moving on,
it is Palmer.
Rookie,
it's Palmer, yeah, it's
rookie
Palmer.
of the season. I don't think this one needs much discussion.
It's Kobbie
Mainoo.
Yeah,
Franklin same.
Huh?
Kobbie Mainoo.
Yeah, well, it has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on then because it's
an obvious.
That'll be a great
it is just copy. Flop of the season.
My flop of the season is Marcus Rashford because he had such a good season last season, and this season he has completely dropped off the levels that I expected him to be at. I thought he was going to staple himself into that Euro squad, and he didn't. And I think a large portion of it comes down to that man's attitude. Ability-wise, there's not really many flaws in his game, but his attitude absolutely stinks. He's a Manchester lad. It's his local team. He loves the club. He loves the city, or so he says. And yet, before games, he'll go out to nightclubs every single night. He
did that one time.
He did it once. It was poor.
If you love the club, okay, you know what I'm going to say? If you love the club, suck up. If you're on that much money, don't go partying at a nightclub the day before United have a game.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't do that.
He doesn't help
you don't help yourself, because then don't pretend like you care about the club if you're willing to go get pissed the day before the game and miss the game. Fuck that.
That's why
Marcus Rashford's a bum, and he's been shit this season, and he'll continue to take the piss.
That's why I've always always rated players like McTominay and Maguire.
Yeah, because they go fucking Maguire compared to Rashford.
Yeah, your player of the season this year.
Yeah,
up there anyway.
Yeah.
Oh well, then I guess.
Yeah. Do you have a flop?
I have a flop. I thought I went to go a little bit outside the box because it's a player who's signed for a team this year from a big club, and I thought he was going to be very good, and I was very excited. I've gone for Ansu Fati.
Yeah.
Actually,
He came over as a wonder kid from Barca, and when Brighton signed him, everyone was like, "Fucking hell, how have they pulled that off?"
Yeah, true.
And the kid's been a bit shit. I think.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I haven't seen every game of Brighton this year, but when he has played, I've just been a bit like, I had high hopes for him, and I was really buzzing when he came to the Prem because I thought, fucking hell, this is a good sign for Brighton, and he's going to take them maybe to the next level and improve them, but he just hasn't done enough for me.
Especially with like Mitsuma's injuries and stuff like that. Like, you think
and he's not like he's been injured all the season. Like obviously some flops we mentioned.
Yeah,
he's had a couple of injuries.
When you look at the players that have gotten over him, like Adingra and Buonanotte and stuff,
those boys have stepped up.
Oh, he's a great. I love Adingra. He's a great, but like when at the start of the season, you wouldn't have been like, after 2 or 3 months, Fatty's not even getting any minutes.
Yeah, he doesn't play. He's on the bench.
He should be like starting every week.
So I thought
should be their best attacker.
A little bit outside the box.
Those are both good shouts.
But you're all wrong.
I'm happy to give it to Rashford if you want.
Surprise of the season. I've gone Chris Wood. He scored 12 non-penalty goals. He might be keeping Nottingham Forest up.
I don't hate it.
Just think he's had a good season. Doesn't need much talking about.
When our knee got injured, I was like,
they're fucked. Yeah,
and he's actually he has been really good. Apart from away at City the other day.
Hat-trick against Newcastle was funny.
I've gone for Ross Barkley.
Right, how have I not thought of that?
But I think it's a good. I think it's a good shout. Like he came from Nice, he didn't really get that much game time at Nice, and he went to Luton just before the season started, and was like, "Oh, that's a bit of a weird one. I wonder if he'll do well." And he's been. Certainly, they're definitely their best midfield and one of their best players. Made them tick, got a good amount of assists as well. And when I watch him, he sticks out like a sore thumb in that team because it's very much a championship team, and he's bringing like the Premier League quality to it.
He's back to the Everton Barkley.
I won't go that far.
I think he is.
It's different. Go that far.
I think he is. Though. In terms of his quality on the ball, I think he's been very.
He plays
good.
a lot deeper now than he used to.
No, I'm not saying he plays like the same as when he, but I think he's been as good as when he was there.
He's been one of the best. He's been top 15.
Better than he was at Everton.
Maybe depends what you're basing it off.
But I like those kind of players. It's a good shout.
So I went with someone who I thought was pretty shit last season when he joined in January last season was stinky. But this season's been really good. I went with Mario Lemina with Wolves. Just because I think
he's had a good season.
He's been really, really solid all season. For a Wolves team, I actually thought might be in trouble before the season started.
Speaking of Wolves, I've got a Wolves player as well.
Oh.
I've gone for 8 Nori.
Oh, that's my boy.
Yeah, I do rate him. I don't know if I go surprised.
I'm not surprised.
I knew he was good
I'm
last
pleasantly
season.
surprised at how good he's actually
100%.
been.
Yeah.
I think last year he was solid. Like, when I've looked at left backs this year, I think in the league, the left backs have been pretty average.
Yeah.
I think he's genuinely got a shout for team of the season.
Yeah,
I think
the better left backs have been
really
outside
good.
of the bigger team.
And like, don't get me wrong, he's very good going forward, but he's actually one-on-one defensively, he's actually very solid.
Yeah.
And I just think he surprised me because I've seen him this year and gone, fucking hell, he's actually quite good. And I knew he was good last year, but I think he's been better this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
What we're gonna? Well,
I don't mind Barkley.
I like Barkley. That's probably the one who surprised me the most.
Need to get him in somewhere.
The next one's a quick one, isn't it?
Best goal, is it just Garnacho?
It's Garnacho, isn't it?
I'm not going to talk about it, but I preferred Foden's against United.
This
There was something about that goal.
the one
that was just
the other week.
Edge of the box.
the one where he fucked it into the top corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It was a very good goal, but I mean, just technically, you got to give it a go.
it has to be. Garnacho,
I know he shinned it, but you got to give it a
Spicy.
go.
He did,
Right.
he did not shin it.
Right. Most improved. I've gone for Leon Bailey.
Oh, that's a shout.
Yeah,
I
like that.
He's
I like that.
improved throughout the course of the season as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last season, and genuinely since he signed for Villa, people have been like, oh, that was a waste. Like, he's been a flop. And now all of a sudden, because we've always known he was a good player, we knew that from like his time in the Bundesliga, but this season he's really coming, and he's like coming clutch in certain moments, like turned up in big moments.
He's got
as well.
some big goals.
But
Hasn't
like, I
he?
think he's got like,
He's a good player.
I think he's got like, it's at least 15 goals and assists. I think he's got over 20.
At the start of the season, Diaby was in the team a lot more, wasn't he? And then he's kind
They're
of come
big
in
new
and
signings.
I was
Ramsey's
going
come
to say,
back.
we spoke about this off camera, like Diaby and Bailey are basically like a clone of each other.
Yeah.
Both very good, very quick, very techy.
Came
left
from
foot,
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen.
Yeah.
But I think Bailey's just kind of stepped on a bit.
Yeah, mine is Anthony Gordon.
Okay.
Last season, he came from Everton, obviously in January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was good, but I think this season he's just added goals and output to his game. Like he's got,
He was
a
getting
great-
loads of criticism last season.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best wingers in the league. Like he's got great
Yeah.
output. He scores in big games. He's scored against every Big Six team this season. He's got that kind of samey finish where you know he's going to cut in on his right foot, but he always curls it bottom corner. There's nothing you can do about it. He's pacey, good cross, got a good defensive work rate as well.
Yeah.
I just think he's a very good all-rounded winger, and now he's added goals and assists to his game when he's matured.
I actually
And Newcastle
thought
have needed that this
In the
season
England
with like
side
Isak.
now,
Yeah, I reckon. Do you reckon he'll go
Yeah,
Europe?
Well,
I
that's
think he
proof.
starts for England on the left.
I don't think he
He
starts.
should, he should go. He won't.
I
Start.
actually
I
thought
think he
about
should
him-
start.
There's an argument that he should, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I thought about him for surprise because I've been pleasantly surprised because when they
Yeah.
signed him, I was just like,
50 million.
we were linked with him for like 50 mil when Lampard was in charge.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're not paying that for him.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, fucking, I wish we had him.
Yeah.
He's been good.
Yeah.
Con?
I went with Dom Solanke because I think he's
Yeah.
finally taken that leap
good
from like,
when he was
okay,
at Liverpool.
is he a championship striker or is he a fucking Premier League striker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's taken the leap to show like, no, I can bag 20 odd goals a season in the Prem now. If he does it again next season, then I'll be surprised if he's
I like it.
still at Bournemouth.
I like it. I mean, you might not agree with mine because he's always been good, but I think he's stepped up again. Similar to Solanke, I actually went for Watkins because I feel like, don't get me wrong,
I see
again,
what he's saying. He
because
was very good
he was
after
good.
Emery came in last
he was
season.
good,
Yeah.
but now I think he's taken another level, and now he's.
I think
competing
he's
for
just
Golden
as good
Boot,
as he
and
was
I think he's
under
better.
Emery last
I've
season.
watched him more this year, and I just think he's got a lot better. I think finishing is he's clinical in front of goal now.
I think
Chef's
all
hat.
4 of them shouts are quite good. I don't know who to pick.
I kind of back the Gordon.
I like the
You know why I like the
shout.
Gordon one?
'Cause people
Getting
really
into
wrote
the
him
England squad before it's just proof of improvement because he wasn't there before.
fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that then. Cool.
Okay, now we're getting into the player of the season ones. Young player of the season, I think this is easy. Cole
21
Palmer.
and under, yeah.
Yeah, 21 and under.
It's a boring one, but it's Palmer. He's
Cole
been
Palmer.
top 3 or 4 best players in the league.
I reckon we're all
We've
going
already
to.
spoken about him.
I reckon we're all going to agree on the next one as well.
Player of the season.
Will,
Yes,
player of the
we will.
season. Who have you got?
If he says Gabriel, I'm going to choke slam him.
It's
I have-
Gabriel.
I've gone for young Philip.
Yeah,
Foden.
I've gone for Phil.
Nope.
Big Phil, though.
No.
I gone with that little ratty chav as well.
You know his middle name's Walter, by the way. What an old man name.
Can I ask a
There
question?
we go.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why are people going so hard Foden over Rodri for player of the season? Not saying that you're saying, oh, he's been miles clear, but it seems like everyone's going Foden.
I think
Why
the
not
reason is it's the same with
More
Ballon
exciting
d'Ors
player.
and
Yeah, he
stuff.
scores goals.
How often do you see defenders and DMs
Rodri's been
and
a better player,
goalkeepers
though.
win Ballon d'Ors?
At what though?
I said yesterday.
Well,
like-
they play different roles.
No, of course
but-
they do, but like, you can't compare Rodri and Foden.
That's
That's
fair.
what I mean. But
Yeah.
I just think if you're looking at who's been like the amount of clutch moments he's had
It's,
this
what
year.
it's more what
I-
you take notice of.
I think
and what you
Rodri
prefer.
steps up in
Yeah.
more games and is good. I think Foden has been great in like 8 out of 10 games, like 8% of games. But then there's those 2 out of 10. Whereas Rodri is like consistently.
that record Rodri's
Yeah,
got.
on the
not
real.
that
losing a game.
Fugazi record that needs
Yeah,
to end
it
though,
does.
'cause it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Foden is a fair shout. I'm
I said
question-
Rodri should have won Ballon d'Or, but no one
Yeah.
wanted to hear it. So
Yeah,
Oh
I
no,
think-
he
I just
It's
think
just hard. It's
Yeah,
just
I know
hard
he's
to
that
ignore,
good
like,
at what he does.
in KDB's absence and the lack of,
Agree.
they don't have Palmer there. They've had
Players have
Doku.
consistently stood up in KDB's absence. It's not that big a deal.
Right, okay.
I'll edge it to
We're not
Foden.
doing
I'll
the
edge it to
agenda.
Foden. I'll edge
but
it to
it's just-
Foden. I'll
it's
edge
just
it to
a lot of big goals as well.
And he's-
Manchester derbies.
He's just more
and stuff.
exciting, I think. That's
He's
what it
just
comes down to.
he's just fucking class, isn't he?
I'll edge it to Foden.
Do you know what? Big up the English boys. We've got a lot of English
Yeah.
boys
Mate,
in all these
football's
awards.
fucking coming home, boys.
Yeah,
It is definitely.
Come on.
You've obviously all gone Foden, but yeah, for me, it's just like I wonder. It probably is that. It's just he's more exciting to watch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think for me, Rodri is good in more games. If you know,
I completely get what you're saying. It just literally comes down to, like I've said, what you notice more.
Yeah.
But
It's
the one
just
thing
what
that
people
always said,
want to see.
One thing on Foden's side as well. What people always said about Rodri is that he comes up clutch in big moments. Foden's had a lot of those performances this season.
He's always good in the big games, man.
Yeah,
And
all right.
And it's a harder position to do that, and I think, when you're being judged off GA.
I mean, it's again they're different positions, so it's hard to compare.
Yeah, we're not. It's like comparing
But anyway,
Lampard and Scholes.
We'll get a bit Foden, yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. Let us know if you disagree with anything. You probably did, because we allowed Dill to have a lot of time in this episode.
And do you know what? I cooked, I
did
cooked.
cook. You did cook.
I got pretty much all of my
You
shouts
did.
in there, didn't I?
As boosted as ego.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Right.
Happy with you, man.
We'll see you
and
next
subscribe.
time.
Bye-bye.